Hello, welcome to Kubernetes deployment series part 28. In this series, we are going to learn how to deploy microservices into cluster using Flux and Helm Chart. In our previous lessons, we have already discussed how to deploy microservices into cluster using Flux and Helm Chart, but in the previous cases, we have kept the Helm Chart in the Git repository and Flux used to monitor the Git repository as the source, and if there are any changes, it reconcile and deploy the changes to the cluster. But in this lesson, we are going to learn how we can keep the Helm charts in a Helm repository. So instead of keeping it in the Git repository, how we can store our own Helm charts into the Helm repository, or how, if there are existing Helm charts, for example, from the Bitnami, so from there are a lot of already existed Helm charts available. If we want to deploy any of these Helm chart into our cluster, then how we can do that? Okay, so before proceeding, let first create the cluster. Let me go to the command here and let me create the cluster first, so that because it takes some time, so during creation we can discuss on this topic. So let it continue. Then so here, so basically what we need to do in this case is we need to store the Helm chart in the GitHub repository. You can see we have the in GitHub repository we have the packages, right? So this is also behaves like a container registry where we can keep our Helm charts. But there are other ways also available, like private repositories, like we can keep it in Azure Container Registry ACR. We can also use ECR, that is Elastic Container Registry for AWS. Similarly, for Google, there is also the artifacts available where we can keep our Helm charts. So if you see, uh, let me just check. Uh, so as I told, this Helm chart or repository, there are mainly of two types, you can say broadly. Uh, okay, so here you can see one is the existing, or we can say the classic Helm repo, where we use basically HTTP or HTTPS for accessing the Helm chart. Okay, and there is another one is it's OCI based. Okay, so here we basically use the container registry, that is nothing our GitHub container registry or Azure container registry, ECR or GCP artifact registry. Okay, and so this basically we can use as, if we are using GitHub, that can be used as a public or private. If we are making private, then we need, in that case we need to use a secret to access that Helm chart. Okay, so we'll learn how we can create a secret, and if we are defining or keeping our Helm chart as a private repository, then how we can access, or how we need to configure so that the Flux CD will access that Helm chart. Okay, let me just check whether the cluster got created. Yeah, it is done. Next step, what we have to do is let bootstrap the Flux CD. So for that, what I need to do is I have to import these three variables. Okay, then here I'm using the repository is 28. You can see here 28 deployment. Okay, in this today's session, I am using two repository here. One is for the development and the other one is the deployment. So in case of development, what we are doing is we need to create the Helm chart package, and we need to push it into the GitHub package or repository here. Okay, so from there the Flux CD um, will access and monitor it and deploy into the cluster. Okay, so in your previous, as I already told, in your previous lessons, we have usually keep the Helm charts in the repository itself. Okay, but here you can see here, this is my Helm chart, but this is in the development environment. And from here, I want to create the Helm package, and that I need to push into the GitHub uh, content registry. Okay, and from there, Flux will access, and it will monitor for any changes to that Helm charts. Okay, so let it continue. Then what we can do is, uh, so for this, what we can do is like in order to create the packages, okay, and push into the to the GitHub content registry, I need to log into the GitHub registry first. So we can use this command here. Okay, so just I have logged into the GitHub content registry. Then what I have to do, you can see in the Helm chart, I have this 5 different Helm chart that belongs to different services. Okay, you can see here. So first I need to package this. Okay, so it will create a Helm chart package, and it will create like this config 010 tgz. Okay, so in this package, I mean format, it will create this Helm chart package, and that you need to again push into the GitHub registry. Okay, let me just run this command altogether. You can see here it is creating in down. You can see this is creating the packages here. And how it is getting created, you can see in the chat file what you mentioned, right? I have mentioned here storefront. The name of the package is storefront. I mean the Helm chat, and the version number is 010. Okay, so in that it's creating here. Okay, config 010, order 010, and these are all mentioned in the chat uh, YAML file. Okay, the name, and it is taking this version and creating that package with that name. Okay, so these all got created. Next, what we have to do is we need to uh, push, because you see the names are matching here. Config hyphen 010, right? Config hyphen 010 tgz. Okay, and what you have to do here, I have to take this, and it should be here. You can see OCI. I have mentioned my GitHub content registry here, and this is my username, and this is the name of my repository. Okay, here it will store all these Helm charts. Okay, let me just run this. You can see it is pushing all this to the repository. You can see if we come and we'll just refresh it. Yeah, it is pushing one by one here, and you can see, yeah, so you can see it now. Let me refresh it again. You can see all the 5 Helm charts are pushed into the GitHub content registry. Okay, and these are all private. Okay, you can also declare as public, but in my case, I'm just making it private so that I'll show you how to create a secret, so that and we'll configure in our Helm repository in CRT custom resource to access this GitHub content registry using a secret. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so this part is done. We have already created this, and our now the Helm charts are available in the GitHub content registry. Okay, so that is done. Now let's go to the deployment part. So our cluster is ready, and we also bootstrapped it. So if you see, I have already bootstrapped it. So if I come here and try to sync or pull it, you can see here my cluster, it is got created, because I have already run this Flux bootstrap, and you can see this is my it is got created by the Flux system automatically, and the components are deployed in the Flux system, Flux-system namespace. And here I have already explained, this is referring to the repository, and this is for monitoring our YAML files. Okay, for our Helm charts or manifest file for any changes. Okay, let me just make this one here. Okay, now what we have to do, under this folder demo cluster, we need to create a Helm repository YAML file, so that I'll show you how what it should do is. Let me go here. I have already created it before, so let me just copy to this cluster here. Okay, now let me just go through this what this Helm repository does. Okay, yeah. So you can see here, this kind is CRD is Helm repository. Okay, this is a custom resource definition, and the name of Helm repository. So basically, this will point to the GitHub container registry that just now we have created. Okay, I have given the name is this, and it is created under Flux system, the namespace. It will use the Flux system namespace. And here, what we have to mention is type OCI. Okay, and interval I given 1 minute. It will keep checking every 1 minute. And the path, what I mentioned is OCI. We can see what is the path here. If you want to go to any of these, right, you can see this is the path. Okay, this is just this path we need to mention here. Okay, this is my repository name. This is my repository name till this. Okay, and this is order is the Helm chart name. Okay, so this name is available here. You can see if I'll come here and you can see here, this is the name I've just mentioned. Okay, okay, so yeah, that, so it points to the it basically points to this the this Helm chart. Okay, up to this, but under this chart package, right, packages here, we have this online store charts. Under this we have all the different Helm charts are available. Okay, so and here, in order to access that, because my Helm charts are in a, all are declared in as private, so I need to use this secret reference. So for that I have created a secret here. Let me just create it. I have not created that one. Let me just create it. Okay, so for that you can see we can use to create a Docker registry secret, and I have just given this name. Okay, so let me create this secret. Okay, okay, let me create it again. This required the token. Okay, let me again put this. Okay, it got created. Okay, now here what I've done is, like I just mentioned the GitHub for the username and the token, and it is pointing to this GitHub content registry. Okay, so and it will be used in the use the Flux hyphen system namespace. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to come here and I have to use this namespace, so secret here. Okay, okay, so that's all. But here we are using OCI content registry, as I told. But there is I mean, the classic or ordinary other registries like Bitnami. So here, no need to mention this type as OCI. Since I'm using OCI here, the type I mentioned OCI. But in the other case, if we are using Bitnami Helm repository, so in that case, we just provide the URL here, and this type is not required. It will automatically take that Bitnami or any other the HTTPS based uh, Helm repository. Okay, so this is one thing is done. Now we need to mention create our Helm release. Okay, so for Helm release, since we have here 5 Helm charts. Okay, we have here 5 Helm chart packages. Let me go this private, so you can see these are all 5 Helmchart packages. So you need to deploy this separately. Okay, so for that we need to create different 5 Helm release YAML files. Okay, so using the CRD Helm release. For that I have already created those things. Let me go to these packages. Okay, and I have created those for product, and under this I kept everything. Okay, so let me copy those and just I'll explain again. Under cluster, okay, we need to copy under this. So now we don't want this cluster copy. This is not required, just for my reference I kept, but it's not required now. So in here, then if you go to this, and you can see these are all my Helm release. Okay, here you can see the kind is Helm release, and the name I given is config. Okay, it will deploy in the default namespace, and the release name as I have given the same config, but the chart name I have given is config here. So what is this config? Basically, it refer to this config. Okay, this config name it refer here, and uh, and the version what it refer, you can see the version is here. If we go to the config under this, it is 010, right? This is 010. So this version it will refer, and then in our previous case, if you remember, the source reference we used to Git repository instead of a Helm repository. But now the kind is Helm repository, what we have already created here. This one. Okay, this name is online store repo. Okay, if you let's go here, so you can see this is online store repo. So this Helm repository we are referring, and this is referring. It is it is referring to this one, our GitHub repository that where I kept my Helm Chart packages. Okay, yeah. But if we want to deploy some existing Helm chart, then in that case, no need to mention OCI. You have to mention that particular. Suppose you are using Bitnami Helm repository, then you can mention the URL here, and you can use for any whatever particular software you are going to deploy into cluster, that you need to mention in this here. The chart name you have to mention here. Okay, then mention the chart name and the version, and the Helm repository name. I think it is now clear. So similarly, it is for all. If you see, it is a same thing everywhere, but I have just changed the name, release name, and chart name. Okay, this chart name is nothing. Here it will come and it will take this order chart. Okay, it is same for all these. Okay, it is same for all this, and here you can also see you can include the values. Okay, because if you want to override something, then the some variable values you can update here by adding it, but it's optional. If you don't want to override anything, then just remove this, or don't use these values here. Yeah, that's all the changes that we required here, and let me this is not required. Let me delete this. Okay, uh, let me save, then I'll push it into the GitHub. Okay, now we will just wait for reconciling. The Argo sheet should automatically reconcile it, and it should create the deploy the services into the cluster. Okay, so if you'll go to the uh, use this command here, and let just check how it is getting reconciled. Also, let me open another one. I have to take git pass. Okay, now okay, get pod. Since I'm using default namespace, no need to. Okay, see, it started creating. It reconciled properly, and you can, if you go this, yeah, it is reconciling, and it got created. Now you can see here the order has how many order replicas are there. 6 are there. Okay, prod 2, rabbit message queue 1, storefront 2. If you see here, uh, what I have defined under order Helm release, see the replica I mentioned 6, and for product it is 2. Okay, for rabbit message queue also 2, but still it is 1. It will create one more, and for storefront I have not mentioned. So whatever is there in that values.yaml, it should create. I mean the in the uh, in the Helm chart itself. Okay, let me just again. Okay. you can see a rabbit message queue it created to here. Okay. Now, so when now we know how it is the Flux CD. It is now referring to refers the Helm chart from the um, GitHub container registry. This is a kind of OCR registry. We can, if we are using cloud native cluster like AKS, then in that case we can use ACR Azure Container Registry, or if we are using EKS for AWS, we can use ECR Azure Helm repository. Okay. Similarly for GCP, we have the respective Helm repository also available. Okay. Uh, yeah. So that so now what we have to check, like how whether how it is the Flux CD is monitoring the Helm repository. I mean the GitHub content registry. For to see that, let me push another uh, version of the packages. Okay, so what we can do is, in order to make a new version of the package, either you can change the source code, and there you can change your image, whatever your application image that you can change, or for simplicity you can change the replica set. So I'm not modifying the images here, but we can change your something in your source code and create a new image, docker image for that, give it a different version, and then you change your the chat here. Okay, you change the name and the version of your chat and create a helm package again. Okay, so now what I can do is, mm, let me just change only one. So in this chart, what I have to do is, in the replica, what is the replica count is here? Replica count is one. Okay, and what? Let me do it now. It is in our case it is showing six. So let me make it two here. Okay, and after this, what I can do? Let me change the chart version. I'll make it 1.1.00. Okay, so I just made it the values the replica to 2, and I changed my version and name, everything will keep same. Now what I can do is I'll create a new image here, sorry, package here. So what I have to do for that, I have to package it by using this command. Okay, let me do this. Now you can see a new package got created, order hyphen 100. Okay, so this includes our changes and it create a package. Now I have to push it again. So for pushing it, this I have to use, but I have to change this uh, version one. This will be because the file name got changed, right? It's 100 now. So I have to change 100, and I'll keep same thing here. Okay, it will push into my Docker. Oh, sorry. Now I just pushed it. Let me refresh it. Okay, now can we see? Okay, if you go to the order, you can see it pushed as a 100 version. Okay, so you can see there are two versions now. The earlier one is 010, now it is 100. Okay, so it is there. Now what I can do is I'll go to this, and where I'm my Helm release, order Helm release, instead of 1010 I have to make 100. Okay, and because I'm overriding this replica, let me remove this because I want to see it should show two records, sorry, two replicas of order service. Okay, so for that I just removing this, otherwise it will override that and it will create six replicas. Okay, so in order to see the changes, I remove that values. So that I'm changing that replica 6 to 6. Okay, so I remove that. So what changes I did? The version, now it will refer 100 instead of 010, and I remove that replica, that values what was overriding that. Okay, so these two changes I have done. Now what I'll do, I'll just check in and we'll see whether the Flux CD is monitoring to our GitHub content registry, and whether fetching the new changes or not and deploying into the cluster or not. Okay, so for that, let me, if you see the changes, so what I have done is I removed this part and I have changed this. Okay, okay, let me just push it. Okay, Let me sync it. So if you see here, previously it was showing six replicas of the order service. Okay, but with these changes, it should show two if we successfully replicate. I mean, reconcile it. Okay, now it is done. Let go. If you want to see, okay, so let it is now reconciling. Okay, let me just get the pod here. Let me go here and check. Now you can see just two instances for order service. Earlier it was showing six. Okay, so you know how it is now the Flux CD is monitoring the GitHub content registry. So here we are using GitHub content registry as our OCR Helm repository. Okay, so in case of other cloud environment, we can use SCR or ECR as a type of OCR Helm repository. Okay, yeah, and yeah, that's all for today. And in our future lesson, we'll learn how we can do the same, because in this using KinD, I explained the different concepts, how we can use the different components of the Flux CD, and how we can use the manifest files or Helm charts, and how the Flux CD will monitor and deploy into the cluster. Okay, so same thing we'll again learn in a case as well. Okay, in case of a case, if we'll use a case cluster, in that case, how we can uh, uh, deploy the microservices using these concepts, and how we will automate this. Okay, through pipeline. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching the video, and if you uh, like this, then just subscribe and share it, um, and we'll wait for the next video. Till then, bye bye, thank you.